In today's video, we get to see if Jaman Burton, a very fun video blogger, can find a big call on the river with a bluff catcher. This hand is from 5-10, no limit hold'em at Bellagio. Let's get right to it.
This time it begins with him opening $30 from the hijack and me finding pocket jacks in the cutoff and raising to $110.
Perfectly fine, perfectly standard. Re-raise your best hands. You will realize his re-raise size may seem a little bit big. His opponent raised to 30, he re-raises to 110. When you're playing $1,500 deep, 150 big blinds, in a cash game, usually you just generally want to use bigger sizes than you may be used to if you're used to playing 100 big blind poker or shallower stacked as if you were in a tournament. So good re-raise size here by Jaman.
The action folds back around to him, and he calls. The flop ace-3-8 rainbow isn't the stuff dreams are made of, but he stays in flow and checks it over to me. I do check some strong hands back here, but in this case, I think I may have missed a c-bet with the jacks.
Yeah, ace-8-3 is an interesting spot because when it goes check on the flop, you need to have a reasonable plan for how to proceed on both the turn and the river if you face a bet. And you should expect to face a bet a decent portion of the time because when a lot of players check back on ace-high boards, they usually have a marginal bluff catcher, like a bad ace-x or an underpair. And if most players bet the turn and the river, most of their opponents will fold out the underpairs by the river, which is an interesting spot because it puts you to some extent in a bit of a leveling war because does your opponent think you will fold? Well, do they actually have the courage to go for the bluff? Who knows? And, well, the problem is that if your opponent does happen to have a good ace, they can just easily go for value and not be so worried about being beat. Typically, whenever I 3-bet and the board comes very uncoordinated like this, I usually just make a small bet of like $50 because I have a pretty big range and nut advantage on this very uncoordinated board. But check's fine as long as you have a pretty good read on how your opponent will proceed. Because against some players, the plan is to just fold if they bet the turn in the river, whereas against other players, the plan is to definitely call down. So make sure you have a reasonable idea of how you're going to proceed.
The turn 7 of clubs completes the badoogie, and he snatches control by leading for $130, a bit over half pot. Under-repped and primed to get bluffed by a player that knows how to bluff has left me in a predicament. However, you can't win if you fold. I call.
So he says that his opponent knows how to bluff, which is definitely a very important concept here. If your opponent is weak, tight end, passive, I don't think you can fold immediately on the turn, but the plan is to probably call the turn and then fold to a big river bet. You may say, why not just fold the jacks immediately? Because you could easily be drawing thin to dead against an ace if you plan on folding on the river to a big bet. Well, the problem is that a lot of players are not always going to bet big on the river. A lot of players may even value bet thin with a hand like 9-8, or they may bluff one time and then give up on the river, thinking that, well, if you call the turn, you're going to call the river. So, at least from a game theory optimal point of view, you want to make sure you're folding some hands on all betting rounds to aggression if your opponent plays really well. And what it amounts to is pocket jacks is a hand that's good enough to call on the turn because you will have some unpaired hands that want to fold. But then when you call the turn, your range gets substantially stronger to the point that pocket jacks may be one of the worst hands in your range by the river. So if you face a big river bet, you can easily fold out the worst hands in your range, which will be pocket jacks. All right, easy call on the turn against basically everyone. Let's see what happens on the river.
The river pairs the 3, and bombs are dropped. He slides $400 into the middle, which is a bit under full pot. For this to be a profitable call, I only need to be right 1/3 of the time. We go deep into the tank here.
Before we see what Jaman does, what would you do with pocket jacks in Jaman's spot facing this big river bet? Would you find the fold? Would you call? Or would you rip it all in? Let me know in the comment section down below. Dicey spot for sure because, well, we could easily be against an ace, right? This is a spot where you will find that some players, especially in live poker, only bet big when they're bluffing, and they only bet small when they are value betting with an ace. When I say small, I mean maybe $250 into the $400 or $500 pot, right? Because a lot of players will think if they bet big, you're going to fold unless you have an ace. And therefore, when they have an ace, they want to bet small and get called, and when they're bluffing, they want to bet big and get a bunch of folds, right? Other players will try to be substantially more balanced. If you're against someone who's balanced, this is a pretty tough spot. probably just a fold. But if you're against someone who will use exploitative strategies or over bluff in general, I think you have to make the very, very, very crying call. Let's see what Jaman does.
I mean, I beat no value. None. But he didn't get to be a winning player by showing up with only value on the river. I make the call. He quickly exposes King 10 offsuit, and I exhale.
Nice call by Jaman. I like that a lot. I think he played this hand perfectly well, assuming his opponent is capable of taking a hand like King 10 and bluffing it, which clearly they are. So nice hand by Jaman. He scoops a nice pot with a very, very marginal made hand. Huge thanks to Jaman for letting us use this video. Make sure you check out his blog at youtube.com/Jaman Burton. He has a lot of fun over there, and I like his work very much. Good luck in your games. Have a great week. If you enjoyed today's show, very quickly, click the like and subscribe buttons below, right down there. I would appreciate it. I hope you have a great week, and I hope all of your bluff catchers win.